Welcome everyone. This is Brother Doug. I'm here with my brothers and sisters from the Awakened by Yahuwah Fellowship Group. To my left is my brother Bobby, my sister Kristen. Right below me is our sister Sally, and next to her is our brother Dennis. And we are going to be continuing the book of Jeremiah chapter 5. My sister Sally will be leading us off. So Sister Sally, I'll give it to you.
Diligently search the streets of Jerusalem, and please look, and know and seek in her open places if you find a man, if there is anyone doing right ruling, seeking the truth, then I shall pardon her. Even when they say, as Yahuwah lives, they swear falsely for certain. O Yahuwah, are your eyes not on truth? You have smitten them, but they have not grieved. You have consumed them, but they have refused to receive instruction. They made their faces harder than rock. They refused to turn back. Then I said, these are only the poor. They have been foolish, for they have not known the way of Yahuwah, the right ruling of their Elohim. Let me go to the great men and speak to them, for they have known the way of Yahuwah, the right ruling of their Elohim. But these have altogether broken the yoke and torn off the bonds. Therefore a lion from the forest shall smite them. A wolf of the deserts ravage them. A leopard is watching over their cities. Whoever comes out of them is torn in pieces. For their transgressions have been many. Their backslidings have been numerous. Why should I pardon you for this? Your children have forsaken me, and sworn by those that are not mighty ones. When I had filled them up, then they committed adultery, and they thronged to the house of a whore. They were like well-fed horses. Everyone neighed after his neighbor's wife. Would I not punish them for this, declares Yahuwah? And would I not revenge myself on such a nation as this? Go up on her walls and destroy, but do not make a complete end. Take away her branches, for they do not belong to Yahuwah. For the house of Yasserel and the house of Yehudah have utterly betrayed me, declares Yahuwah. They have been untrue to Yahuwah and said, it is not he. No evil comes upon us, nor do we see sword or scarcity of food. And the prophets have become wind, and the word is not in them. Thus shall be done to them. Therefore thus said Yahuwah, Elohim of hosts, because you speak this word, see, I am making my words in your mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. See, I am bringing a nation against you from afar. O house of Yasserel, declares Yahuwah. It is an enduring nation. It is an ancient nation, a nation whose language you do not know, nor do you understand what they say. Their quiver is like an open tomb. All of them are mighty men, and they shall eat up your harvest and your bread, which your sons and daughters should eat. They shall eat up your flocks and your herds. They shall eat up your vines and your fig trees. With the sword they shall demolish your walled cities in which you are trusting. But even in those days, declares Yahuwah, I shall not make a complete end of you. And it shall be when they say, why does Yahuwah our Elohim do all this to us? Then you shall answer them, as you have forsaken me and served foreign mighty ones in your land, so you shall serve foreigners in a land that is not yours. Declare this in the house of Jacob, and proclaim it in Yehudah, saying, hear this now, O foolish people without heart, who have eyes and see not, and who have ears and hear not. Do you not fear me, declares Yahuwah? Do you not tremble at my presence? Who have placed the sand as the boundary of the sea by an everlasting law, and it does not pass over it? Though its waves toss to and fro, they are not able, though they roar, they do not pass over it. But this people has a backsliding and rebellious heart. They have turned aside and gone away, and they do not say in their heart, let us now fear Yahuwah our Elohim, who gives rain, both the former and the latter, in its season. He guards for us the appointed weeks of the harvest. Your crookednesses have turned these away, and your sins have kept the good from you. For among my people are found wrong men who lie in wait as one who sets snares. They have set up a trap, they catch men. As a cage is filled with birds, so their houses are filled with deceit. Therefore they have become great and grown rich. They have become fat, they are sleek. They also overlook the deeds of the wrong. They do not rightly rule the cause of the fatherless, so that they prosper. In the right of the needy, they did not rightly rule. Would I not punish them for this, declares Yahuwah? Would I not revenge myself on such a nation as this? An astounding and horrible matter has come to be in the land. The prophets have prophesied falsely, and the priests rule by their own hand, and my people have loved it so. And what are you going to do at the end of it?
Wow.
Question.
Wow. What I found interesting recently is I saw a movie recently that this villain uses an ancient language that the guy didn't know what the heck he was saying. And the movie was X-Men Apocalypse, and this guy, basically the villain in the movie is portraying Nimrod, the actual scriptural character of Nimrod, as a villain, and he's speaking this weird language that no one knows. And it's interesting, in this chapter it says that Yahuwah is bringing an ancient nation whose tongue you do not know, whose language you can't understand. And so possibly this is referring to Babylon. This is referring to King Nebuchadnezzar and the Babylonian army coming in to the siege of Jerusalem. And that they had an ancient language that no one could understand, the Chaldean language. Possibly the character in this movie, in the Apocalypse movie, he was probably speaking Babylonian, most likely. So that was kind of a cool connection I saw in this chapter. It's pretty interesting how Yahuwah is using the metaphor of a lion. It's pretty interesting. And basically Yahuwah is venting to Yashrael, saying, you've abandoned me, you've went after mighty ones that are not even mighty ones, you've disowned me, and all these actions they have done, lusting after their neighbor's wife, all this stuff that his people have done are bringing this disaster upon themselves. That's what I got from this chapter.
Yes, there was quite a bit in this chapter, for sure.
Yeah, and also it seems like Yahuwah is alluding to false prophets towards the end of the chapter, where he's saying I think it says they spread their nets for snares. The prophets prophesy falsely in verse 31. They teach whatever they please, and my people love it. So kind of like you can kind of connect that to religion today, where religion preaches whatever they want, And Yahuwah's people is, for the most part, they're deceived in other religions, and they're taught whatever the guy from the pulpit wants to teach them, the rabbi in the synagogue, whatever he wants to teach them. And so it's kind of like the same thing in modern day. You have these false shepherds leading away Yahuwah's flock. So I think whoever wants to volunteer for the next chapter, I know Brother Dennis, he doesn't have much light near him. So maybe I should read next chapter. Let's see here. So we'll be starting chapter 6. Let's see. My title for this chapter actually says more about the invasion. So I guess we're going to get deeper into this invasion from what I believe is the Babylonian army taking the house of Yehuda into Babylon. I could be wrong. So let's see. Chapter 6, Jeremiah, says, "Save yourselves, men of Benjamin. From the heart of Yerushalayim, sound the trumpet in Tekoa. Set up a standard in Beth Hakkerem. For disaster threatens from the north, an immense calamity. Shall we spare the daughter of Sion to a tender pasture? Shepherds advance on her with their flocks. They have pitched their tents all around her. Each grazes the part he chooses. Prepare for battle against her. To arms. We will launch the attack in broad daylight. Despair, the daylight is fading already. The evening shadows lengthen. To arms. We will launch the attack under the cover of dark and destroy her palaces." Now, I did want to just stop real quick because it says the daylight is fading already. The evening shadows lengthen, meaning that, so the sign of evening coming is when the sun is going down, basically. So evening, scripturally, is a synonym for sunset. So I just found that kind of interesting. To arms, we will launch the attack in broad daylight. Despair, the daylight is fading already. The evening shadows lengthen. To arms, we will launch the attack under cover of dark and destroy her palaces. For thus says Yahuwah Sabaoth, cut down the trees, throw up an earthwork outside Yerushalayim. She is the city of falsehood, with nothing but oppression in her. As a well keeps its water fresh, so she keeps her wickedness fresh. Okay, that's not a good metaphor. So she keeps her wickedness fresh. Violence and ruin are what you hear in her. Disease and wounds are always before me. Be warned, Yerushalayim, lest I should turn away from you and reduce you to a desert, a land without people. Yahuwah Sabaoth says this, glean, glean as a vine is gleaned. What is left of Yashraal? Like a grape picker, pass your hand again. Over the branches, to whom am I to speak? Whom can I urge to hear? Plainly, their ears are uncircumcised. They cannot listen. Plainly, the word of Yahuwah is for them something contemptible. Basically, something they don't want. They can't stand it. They have no taste for it. But I am full of the wrath of Yahuwah. I am weary of holding it in. Then pour it on the children in the streets, and where young men gather also. All shall be taken, husband and wife, the gray beard and the man weighed down with years. Their houses shall pass to other men, so also their fields and their wives. Yes, I will stretch my hand over those living in this land. It is Yahuwah who speaks for all, lest no less than greatest. All are out for dishonest gain. Prophet no less than priest. All practice fraud. They dress my people's wound without concern. Peace, peace, they say, but there is no peace. They should be ashamed of their abominable deeds, but not they. They feel no shame. They have forgotten how to blush. And so as others fall, they too shall fall. They shall be thrown down when I come to deal with them, says Yahuwah. Yahuwah says this, put yourselves on the ways of long ago, or the ancient paths. Inquire about the ancient paths, which was the good way. Take it then, and you shall find rest. Doesn't Yahusha say, take my yoke because my burden is easy and you shall have rest? Just a thought. Instead, they have said, we will not take it. I posted lookouts on their behalf. Listen to the sound of the trumpet. But they answered, we will not listen. Then hear, you nations, and know, assembly, what I will do to them. Hear, earth, I am bringing a disaster on this people. It is the fruit of their apostasy, since they have not listened to my words, and as for my law, they have rejected that. What do I care? Hold on, we'll be right back. All right, everyone, we're back. I left off at Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 20, and here we go. I'll reread it here. It is the fruit of their apostasy, since they have not listened to my words, and as for my law, they have rejected that. What do I care about incense imported from Sheba, or fragrant cane from a distant country? Your holocausts are not acceptable. Your sacrifices do not please me. Therefore, thus says Yahuwah, in front of this people, I will now lay blocks for them to stumble over. Father, as well as son, neighbor, and friend, all shall perish. Yahuwah says this, now a people is coming from the land of the north. From the far ends of the earth, a mighty nation stirs. They are armed with bow and spear. They are cruel and pitiless. Their noise is like the roaring of the sea. They are riding horses, each man equipped for war. On you, daughter of Sion, we have heard the news. Our hands fall limp. Anguish has gripped us, pain like a woman in labor. Do not go out into the countryside. Do not venture on the roads, for the enemy's sword is there. There is terror on every side. Wrap yourself in sackcloth, daughter of my people. Roll in ashes. Mourn as for an only son. A very bitter dirge, for on us suddenly the destroyer is coming. I have appointed you as a sayer of my people. I'm guessing a sayer is like a mediary or messenger. To learn and to say how they behave. Oh, actually, I think it means to inquire. Okay, so to inquire how they behave. They are apostates, all of them, promiscuous slanderers, all of them corrupt. The bellows blast away to make the fire burn away the lead in vain. The smelter does his work, but the dross is not purged out. Silver reject, men call them, and indeed Yahuwah has rejected them. So that was the end of Jeremiah chapter 6. Pretty much self-explanatory here. It's going into the invasion of Yerushalayim, the initial invasion. And I see a lot of prophetic foreshadowing, especially in the last part of this chapter, with kind of alludes to what Yahusha said in the Brit Hadashah, when you see armies surrounded by Jerusalem, know that her abomination is near. So it's kind of interesting. The last part here is talking about the tribulation period that precedes after the invasion. Okay. So that's pretty much what I got from this chapter. So let's see here. So the big thing is Yahuwah is saying, return to my ancient paths, return to my law, you will find rest. Before I cited that Yahusha says that I will give you rest, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. So a connection between the law of Yahuwah and Yahusha, the second chapter. So and it says, let's see if there was anything. Well, another big thing is Yahuwah is basically saying all these sacrifices you're giving me is nothing. You're apostate. You're wicked. Don't be giving me sacrifices when you got lawless lives. And so that's what I got from this chapter too. And basically all this is happening, the tribulation, the pains of a woman in labor, the tribulation period is being alluded to from the previous chapter as a punishment to the sinners. In the foreshadowing, it sounds like it's only happening to Yahuwah's people, but it's, as we see in end times prophecy, is going to happen to all the sinners. So right here in this context, he's referring to his people being wicked and for greedy of gain, for not judging righteously, for committing sexual immorality spiritually. So basically, this is their punishment, and this is going to be the world's punishment unless they repent. So that's what I got from this chapter. So does anyone have anything else they would like to add? Brother Dennis, Sister Sally, Shoshana?
No, I had to answer a phone call. Joe's calling me back. He's got a little pole saw thing that he's going to try to come over here and just cut that limb off my power lines out here. That'll be a while.
Yahuwah says that he deals with his people first. It's the house of Yahuwah before the rest of the world. And I think that's what that is picturing.
Mm.
I need to find me some better light.
So, another thing that's interesting too is that Yahuwah is using the terminology a people from the land of the north is invading Jerusalem. And as far as I know, I believe north to Israel, even modern day, is, I believe Iraq is north to Israel on a map, I would believe. And Iraq in ancient times was known as Babylon. So I've recently found that out through research, that Iraq used to be known as physical Babylon back in the day. So just something to ponder.
That's where they found the head of Nimrod.
Wow. So let's see, we got a couple more minutes. If anyone wants to add anything before we do the next session. If not, we're gonna stop this portion of the recording here and we'll come right back in. There's not gonna be we got limited time here, viewers. We only got about 9 minutes we only got 9 minutes left because we only get 40 minutes a session. So I think we're going to be ending this recording right now, and we'll be coming right back. So stay tuned, everyone. This is Brother Doug with this assembly, the Awakened by Yahuwah assembly, and we'll be back shortly. Shalom. Stay tuned.